Hey, what's up guys? Due to me having, or not being able to get to sleep, I decided I'd do a video. Gonna start a game here. It doesn't matter what level I am, I'm just basically gonna give some feedback on the beta.
Let us seek honor together, mate.
Oh hey, the Templar followed me.
I smell fear.
You pick that guy up later on in the game.
And the tomes. Onward!
So a curious thing for many of the objects in Diablo 3 don't have a highlight outline around them, much like this Welcome to New Tristram sign. I'm not necessarily sure if it really needs it on that one, but there are particular signs throughout the game where it'd be really helpful to know which particular thing you have your cursor hanging over, because your cursor could possibly be hanging over multiple things if you do not have that highlight.
For all that is right!
The fallen star has upset the balance of this land. I seek it.
It fell on the old cathedral. There was only one survivor, Leah. You should speak with her.
Captain Rumford, more dead are coming.
We can't have
In the
any
beta,
captains
you
without
can
them back.
basically redo the beta as many times as you want, pretty much.
I've never seen anyone fight like that before. Guards, open the gates. You'll find Leah at the slaughtered calf
I'm actually
inn.
going to see if I can get this video to run better. Meh, you guys can deal with it. I don't think the frame rate's dropping too much, or too badly.
has fallen to disgrace. What faith can save us now? It is the end of the world. Can't you see that? I promise, Marco, I protect
You also keep your blacksmith throughout each playthrough. I don't know if this will be in the normal game as well. You also carry through, your blacksmith is interchangeable between your characters, so it's going to be weird, because if you have, like, you know, a level 50 guy who has his blacksmith, you know, way leveled up, then you are also, your like level 1 guy is going to be able to access that level 50, you know, quote unquote blacksmith. That seems kind of weird. I don't know if the blacksmith can make everything that he has ever been able to make if you level him up. I just don't know from all the way up. Like, at that level, I don't know what would happen. Maybe, yeah, I just don't know. It seems kind of like a weird thing to do. We'll see what happens, though. You also have a shared stash, if you guys didn't know that yet. This stash is changeable between each character. I'm fairly certain the gold that you have is shareable throughout all your characters as well, which is another interesting thing. Though I suppose it gets rid of having to mail your low-level guys money. It's also an interesting thing of some objects not disappearing when you are behind them, much like these houses. I can see why. I mean, it's not like you're going to be in combat around these things, but it's kind of curious. I suppose I might be a little used to Torchlight, where objects tended to disappear around the player. Another sign with no outline on it. Though I do like the door effects, the shader or particle effect, however they're doing that, or just, you know, a simple texture. However they're doing it, it's interesting because it actually does really catch the eye, especially in the dreary environment they have. I'm also running a different, or a sharper slash darker post-processing effect on the game, which is why it might look different from what you guys are used to.
Are you Leah? Rumford said you survived the fall.
And I'm just gonna skip all this because you guys can watch the Witch Doctor video if you want to watch that stuff. Now I'm way overlay. I'm way over leveled for this area, so don't mind me just insta killing everything.
The dead will overwhelm us all.
I will send them.
Thank you.
Another curious thing I find is that I can't just click on the dialogue box to get rid of it. I actually have to hit that little X up in the top right. It kind of seems odd.
We've been under siege for 6 days now.
I actually do like these little lore bits. It's helpful.
Captain Rumford and the others are losing
Kind of
hope.
tells you what happened
I tell them
before
not
you
to lose
came.
faith.
And also
Help
gives
doesn't
you a little bit of
arrive soon.
information of what happened in previous games if you haven't played them yet. Yeah, see, notice how some of these objects, some of the walls and stuff are actually disappearing when you are behind them. I can see why it does it here, because it'd be kind of annoying in an indoor environment if it didn't. But it's interesting to see the things that do and don't disappear. Also, most of the NPCs don't have any collision on them. And some do. So I'm assuming that these NPCs just don't have collision on them right now, or they just didn't bother giving the models collision yet, because I believe the blacksmith has it. Yeah, he has it. And he is moving, so it's not like it's the moving animation that's causing that. It's just some of them don't have it. Whatever. Also, Brother Malachi doesn't give, doesn't, you know, do a lay of hands or whatever. He doesn't, like, lift up his hand to bless you. There's just, you know, that little particle effect, or little texture effect, however they're doing it, just pops up on the player. I suppose it works, but, I mean, mainly what this beta, what the game is missing is what you would expect for a beta game to be missing, which is just little tweaks, simple little things like polish, just more polish basically. I mean, it's what's expected at a beta level though.
I will help you fight the risen dead.
I admire your courage.
It's not like
Captain Dalton and the militia was
That will not
what
be
Blizzard
my-
is
I
dealing,
have seen
what the
Barricade,
Diablo 3 devs are
barricade.
dealing with right now is unheard of at all. It's usually how it is.
Dad, that's one of the wretched mothers. There are more of them in the ruins down the road.
Ba ba ba. What else we got here?
Wow, this is a dismal sight.
That is an awesome attack. Yeah, see right here, it'd be really nice to be able to tell these arrows and which one was which. Now it's pretty visible here at 1280 by 720. That's the resolution right now, but 1920 by 1080, it's a bit harder to tell which one your cursor is hovering over.
I expected more.
Also, I do enjoy the fact that the levels, the path is constant. Like this path in the middle right here will always be like this, but the stuff, the content off to the sides will be random. So that's interesting, and I've actually ran into it, so it's not like it's just something they said, they actually implemented it, which is cool. I mean, it's expected since Diablo 2 was mainly all randomly generated. Danger of a completely randomly generated world is disorientation by the player. And, I mean, that's just a little thing. It's not that terribly important. But it's also the fact that it's a real pain to figure out all the rules and necessary things that need to happen in order to make a level completable even, and then it's even harder to make it enjoyable because it's random content, right? So you need to figure out how you're gonna do weapon drops, what content you're gonna drop into the level, if particular things will work together. You just need tons of rules in order to handle all of it to make it work well. die, zombies. They ain't risen, they're zombies. They just named them something different. Yeah, realize as well that this beta, at least from what I gather, is basically in Diablo 2. Imagine that your beta was basically from the beginning of the Rogue Encampment to Bloodraven. Basically, the Orc is Bloodraven. So, this beta is actually a very small slice of the game. So, realize that everything that you see right now is just the tip of the iceberg.
The ruins of old Tristram. The shadow of Diablo still hangs over this place.
This village surrendered to evil and paid the price.
Yeah, usually there's not always a seller here, so that's cool. It's one of the random content things. These guys are always cool. It's an interesting thing they added that hasn't been in any of the... What? Ow! I've always wondered if you could actually enter those portals, or if in the release version of the game, if you will be able to. Also, if you're worried about textures and stuff, from what I also gather is that Blizzard tends to release like another level of graphical quality in their final release build. So right now the highest quality you can get is high. More than likely at release there will be an ultra. And also realize that if you see any chuggage on this game, I mean, more than likely the game isn't optimized currently, or at least you'd hope, because I'm running this with a 580 GTX, and that should be able to handle it no problem. But there's still a little bit of chuggage. And I suppose I'm recording the game, so that also takes a little bit of power out of it. There's an interesting thing too, your quest system is all handled right here, and I guess it's alright, but I barely notice it. I don't even look at it usually. Also, just have it, oh wait, I suppose that's, I don't, yeah, that's cool I suppose, but just having it here, I mean, at 1920 by 1080, you barely even notice it actually being off to the side of the screen. Another interesting thing is, like, right here, this represents that you have a goal here. And this particular waypoint tab isn't, highlighted or anything. It's just the text is gold, which isn't very noticeable. Like, if this entire thing was, flashing or something, not quickly, obviously, but, just kind of pulsing gold or whatever, it would be a lot more noticeable and catch players' eyes a lot more.
Thank you for your help.
Talk
But
with
could
the
you
scrub.
talk some sense?
And a checkpoint system. I'm curious why they tossed in a checkpoint system. I don't think Diablo needs it. I thought Torchlight was perfectly fine with what they did, which was you either pay to stay, or either pay to pop up right where you end it, or right where you died. I think you also had to pay some experience or something. Or you pay nothing and go back to town, or you pay cash and start at the beginning of the level where you died. I thought that system was fine. I'm not too sure why they implemented checkpoints. I guess it could be just faster, getting to places faster if you die. But I also mentioned up on the forums that it'd be really nice to have a some sort of running mechanic. I mean, the running mechanic wouldn't have to be, could even be created in such a way to where it wouldn't work in combat. You could only do it while exploring or running around an area.
Come, let us search.
Here, let me open the gate. Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young. I was raised by Uncle Deckard.
What happened to your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram fell to the demons.
I'm curious, but I think it's really cool that they're jumping back to the original Diablo and talking about some of the characters that were in there. Adria was the witch that was in the original Diablo.
Look, a hidden
And
Follow me.
yeah, like there's also, they're bringing back Leoric. I'm sure some other characters
Your
might
mother's
pop in.
secrets are here.
I mean,
He
Deckard's
said
an
she was a
obvious
witch,
one.
but I never believed it.
But yeah, I find it interesting. I'm curious how much of it they'll be bringing back.
Here's the key, and my mother's journal.
Also, a lot of the dialogue and music is really soft, even if you mess around with the sliders. So that's another little thing that they just need to work out. I'm sure they're aware of it. Just simple things, really. Like everything I've mentioned, as far as I know, is not terribly hard to do. I mean, it's all just simple things. Outlining an object can be a shader effect, which isn't that terribly hard to do. Everything I've mentioned isn't hard, but it really depends on how they implemented their engine and how everything's running, really. Most things when it comes to programming, usually a safe answer is to say it depends. Usually that is a really safe answer.
Tristram Cathedral. The star fell here.
It's interesting how they chose to reimagine everything as, you know, the cathedral's up on a hill, whereas in the original Diablo, well, everything was pretty much flat land. I mean, they probably did that because due to technical reasons, stuff like that, but it's interesting to see the re-envisioning of it for a newer game. Also, that animation, or that's not even an animation, that's just, you know, moving the position of the player. I'm curious if they'll have something better. I think the Barbarian had something, but I don't think anyone else did. So I'm assuming they just had the Barbarian animation for it, and none of the other characters' animations.
The star fell here.
Do you smell that? The smoke itself.
They also implemented this trap, or created these trap mechanics where you can utilize them to help you kill enemies quicker by having, you know, pieces of a wall fall on them or chandeliers fall on the enemy. It's an interesting thing. It allows you to strategize a little bit, and I'm sure it'll come into play in later parts of the game, or it will be helpful at least. This particular equipment slot thing lies. As you can tell, I have everything equipped. Also, it's interesting that the auto-equip feature that I believe was active in both the original Diablo and Diablo 2, it's actually an option in this one, and it's not on automatically. That I found interesting. Now, what that tells me is that they will have BOE items. I think they've mentioned that before, but that kind of guarantees it now, so you don't accidentally auto-equip a BOE item. Though, they could have set up a way to detect that stuff. Maybe they just weren't sure of how to do it effectively, optimally. I don't know. Kind of seems weird that it kind of seems weird that auto equip is not automatic. I'm curious as to why, because it just kind of throws up a red flag in my head as to that they did it for a reason and not just random happenstance. Usually when there's options exposed to the player, it tends to be where the designers or anyone working on the game have some sort of conflict with it being automatically on or automatically off. So they usually leave it up to the player to choose what to do about it. Oh man. That particular attack is... It's interesting that I always thought the monk was a scrapper. Was supposed to be a scrapper class, but he seems to be more and more of being like a tank class, because he can, you know, he has the AoE attack to get the enemies to attack him, and then he has, you know, the healing spells and everything to heal his party members. And then the barbarian, I think, would be a true tank, but the monk seems like it might be better, though I'm not certain of that. That's just what someone commented on, and I found his comment to be, you know, decently thought out.
I don't have enough spirit.
I'm assuming at some point you're going to be able to go through one of these guys' portals and fight the demon of greed. That would be pretty sweet, especially if it's like a little mini thing or an offside or side quest. But yeah, this level, all the dungeons, as far as I know, well, possibly not all the dungeons, but this dungeon that I'm in right now is randomly generated. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. More than likely, I'm assuming that their system works much like Fortnite, where they built chunks and then they randomly chose between those chunks, and they definitely had some logic to check what types of chunks could go where, obviously, because you can only have certain chunks connected to certain other chunks.
Oh, minions, stay back! Back!
Yeah. Die. Spawned. Leoric pops up. So
Okay, I will save you!
Oh god. Oh, good. There's a particular trap in this in the beta that causes my computer just straight freeze for a good 8 seconds. If I ever run into that trap, I'm basically dead because I can't do anything.
Thank you.
Yep.
But why did you risk yourself?
Well,
Not your time.
now that I found Deckard and most of my feedback is pretty much done, I'm going to cut it right here, and thank you for watching, and hopefully this was an informational video.